Okay, hello again rail fans, and today I'm going to be looking at the BR182 on Ruhr Signord main spec Hartbahn. That's a mobile phone maybe heard going off in the background there. Let me just stop that. So patch today has made it possible, if you own the BR182 and you own Ruhr Signord and main spec Hartbahn, everything's all compatible with everything now basically. So be having a look at a couple of wee freight trips with the 182. And this first one's a fairly short one, but it's a pretty cool one because you do a couple of wee bits and pieces at each end. Not a particularly long one if we don't want it to be either. So Ruhr Signord first of all. Not TRANS-PENNINE as the loading screen says. I don't get any control over those, I'm afraid. Right. Plenty of time here as well. No particular hurry. So, first things first. Let's put the master switch into neutral and let's get the lights all turned on. So, headlights, the whole remote light and what have you thing doesn't really seem to do very much. Can't really figure it out. And we just want to turn the external light switch on at the rear cab. And for some reason you need to choose emergency lights rather than tail lights. Tail lights seems to leave the spots on for some reason. Okay, so not going to bother with AFB at this point. I am going to turn the PZB on though, because we are going out onto the line briefly. So I probably want to side with the PZB controls. I'm going to just slap it into mode M just now, even though we're running light, because that's what we're going to be running in for most of the journey. And lastly, let's just turn it on at the switch. Oh, come on, click spot, pop you off. Just get a little bit of light in the gauges there, and we are basically good to start the first part of this. So the first thing we're going to do, just check you've got a clear shunt signal there. You might need to release a little bit of direct brake. You might not. Just check the brake pressure bar goes down to 0 there. So just going a few hundred meters out onto the line first of all. There goes one of the morning commuter services already. So you just need to make sure you go beyond the distance it tells you to, or the objective marker if you've got that active. That's just to make sure that you properly trigger the next part of the activity. But we're not under any particular time pressure here, so we can just take it nice and easy. Okay, so switch the send off and kill the PZB. And I think I've remembered to do everything up here. Didn't have the AFB turned on. So back down the other end and just set our lights. Oops. Probably better to have your direction of travel set before you turn PZB on, then you don't get any problems with it not knowing which end you're acknowledging from or anything like that. Right, so let's go and get this pile of logs that we're taking somewhere. I can't remember where. And off we go. Just keep it nice and slow pace. Hey Stephen, welcome. How are you, mate? I was concentrating on not going flying past my stopping point and what have you. Making sure I didn't forget anything in the end change either. Right, so just cruise on up to oh, tell you what I did forget to do. Must make sure you ask for permission to go through that signal. Sometimes need to do it again. There we go. You go past this without doing that, failed. And 20 is about as fast as you want to go coming up here. Probably a bit too fast actually, but the braking's fairly decent, fairly predictable. Kind of walking pace really you want to be doing when you rock up here. You could use the shunt controls on the side of the cab, but yeah. And we'll just, there we go, that'll do. So brakes to full service. We'll just shut the back end of the cab down just now while we're doing all this. What else did I have turned on? Not much. Just remember to turn the PZB off, and let's go hook this lot up. Hey, hi Nike-sans, welcome. Good to see you again. No, I've not seen any links, Stephen, I'm afraid. This is honestly the first time I've been on the channel at all since the last time I streamed anything. Why can I not reach the couple of things? I had a bit of a busy start to the week, I'm afraid, so I've not really been near. Oh, come on! Fucking click spot, there we go. Not really been near the old YouTubes at all, I'm afraid. Right, so we're connected up. Back on board. Make sure we go to the correct end. And before we do anything else, let's, at this point, I'm going to turn the AFB on because we're going out onto the main line. In fact, what I should have done first, set the reverser, which I'll just do with the stick there. Just confirm that you have PZB in mode M because we're pulling a freight train. And and we can switch it on now. So we've got a clear shunt signal in front of us. We can leave the siding whenever we're ready. So we'll release the train brakes, apply a little bit of power, and then we just need to release the direct brake, which AFB will have applied when we turned it on. And we're off. Right, so we're only going about three and a bit kilometres. We're just basically going around that loop that the freight train's taken to Hagen. And just where they join up with the passenger route normally, we'll be going into some sidings there and dropping this lot off. You then do a run around to pick up a rake of empties, and at that point you can either end the scenario or you can sit and wait till it's time to come back up the line. I suspect it'll be the former rather than the latter, depending on how quickly I do this. So 40 kilometres an hour line speed through the sidings, and then it'll be proceed with cautions all the way up to the junction. So mode M, that'll be 50 kilometres an hour basically the whole way, but it's not a long trip, it's very short. Don't think you actually need to have PZB on as long as you're operating within the confines of this sort of rows of signals here. I tend to turn it on out of habit, but if you're venturing out beyond this point, you absolutely do need it turned on. Well, obviously you don't. I mean, the game's not going to stop you. I mean, for the point of view of if you're wanting to do a realism run, then you would not venture onto a main line without it. So you're just waiting for the back of the train to basically clear the signal block down there, and then we can put the power down. Get ourselves a whole extra 10 kilometres per hour on the go here. And even that'll take a minute or two because we've got to get up this hill first. Okay, so I do remember doing this activity, this particular sort of service ages and ages ago, but it's been a while since I've driven on the rear sig, so can't remember exactly where the signals are and stuff. But the thing with the whole PZB system and what have you is once you're confident driving it on one line, you can drive it basically anywhere. Slight variation in the handling of the trains between the lines, but I'm hoping that gets fixed soon. They still feel a bit light on the rear Signord, I think. Yeah, I know what you mean about the interior Nekosans. It's to me, the outside it looks really stylish and sort of really contemporary. It still looks good today, even though it's like a 20-30-year-old machine, but by God, this is just such a late 1980s interior that is cringe. Ugh. Just, ugh. And ugh. So much beige and green, ugh. It does make up for it by being a cracking train to drive, though. I really enjoy it. Yeah, green wallpaper, man. No. Maybe just a bit much. So 50 kilometers an hour, because you see the ZS signal up on top of the main mast there is at 5. Which is always the speed when you're coming through here on the, regardless of what you're driving anyway, it always seems to be like that. Wait till I've got eyeball on the next signal, so I know I'm not going to miss something, and then we'll go back outside again. Yeah, pretty much every signal you see down here is going to be needing a response. Well, the 4 signals anyway, because they're all going to be at proceed with caution. And then after this trundly slow one, I think we'll hop over to main Spessart and we'll grab a fast freight westbound, maybe go for a ride down the Spessart ramp in one. So this is the junction down here, more or less, I think, where the traffic coming out of Hagen Goods Yard meets up with the passenger line. We'll be more or less, we join it and then immediately peel straight off it into the sidings at Boyle. However you pronounce that. So there's a proper full-blown caution, so I'm just going to reduce further to 40. That's a proper expect stop, so you have to be prepared once you've seen that for a 500 Hz magnet. I don't think I had to acknowledge anything there. No, you don't need to acknowledge shunt signals. So just, yeah, the freight trains normally come through this siding and they go off to the left here and then join the passenger line. But we're going off up into the actual sidings proper here. and we've done really good time as well. So we'll do the runaround part of the operation, but I'm not going to sit for ages waiting on the return leg to Hagen, because it is quite a wait, I think, even by the time I've finished doing the footery stuff down here. So I'm assuming the one I'm pulling is about the same length as the one that's parked there. And on the other side of that one, there's a rake of empties that are to go back. This one sitting here is the one you bring down at 1 in the morning. There's an earlier service you can do. There's 2 of these. Right, this is an absolute bugger to get right, because you have to sort of stop at the trigger point, and there's so little space left between that and the signal. Even though the shunt signal is at white just now, I don't like running beyond it. Okay, so stop. Actually, they do feel just a little bit heavier than I remember them feeling on rear sig. So all I need to do at the moment is I don't need to change ends or anything. We're just going down the back. And if I can reach the click spot, where was it? I had it. There we go. Right, so having dumped that, we can now draw out of here. We're to pull up ahead. We're going up to sort of where there's some signals up there, is where we'll stop. We've already got the AFB on, so we might as well just use it. So you don't need very much power at all. I mean, I'm giving it less than 10% of the available power to use, and it's not having any trouble at all, because there's nothing attached to it. And sort of just up around the signal on the left there will do. It's that's not for us, but it's a handy reference point to use for where to stop. Okay, so going back the way we came now, so we'll turn the switch off, and I'm just going to get under the desk, turn the AFB back off because we don't need it now. What else do I need to do here? So once I've turned that off, then I can close that handle without worrying about brakes and things coming on that I need to release. And turn the PZB off. Okay, so set our direction of travel. I would imagine we should have it on if we're working on a line. I'm not 100% certain what the rules on PZB are when you're doing this kind of work, to be honest with you. Now, still got the AFB gauge showing on the speedo here as well when we've changed end, so you sometimes just need to cycle the system on and off to clear that. So now that we've done that, we should be able to move forward and just go and hook ourselves up to this train. There might be just a tiny bit of pressure left in the system there to release. Do make sure that that shunt signal is showing you a double white before you go through it, though. Otherwise, you'll have come all this way and then get kicked in the balls when you move off. So we'll go up around the stuff we've just dropped off. We'll go up around the empty siding that was to our right as we came in. I hope, otherwise we're in trouble. I don't think you actually would need to have PZB on in here anyway for this bit. I'm not sure any of the signals I'm passing are guarded. Oh no, mind you, we're going out past the end of the sidings here, so maybe we should have it on. Problem is a lot of the information about it's in German, and I don't speak or read German, I'm afraid. So I have to rely on what little has been translated beyond the bare bones that dovetails off it to put in the manual. So just watching the distance now, we should in theory get shuffled up to the left here, and we'll just drop underneath that bridge. It's usually where you stop for these kind of things. I think there's a couple of activities like this on up here. Again, just making sure you trigger the objective marker thing there. You'll notice, unlike the 185 and what have you, I leave the brake handle at 10 here. That seems to be what you do with this machine. If I did that in the 185, it wouldn't go anywhere when I powered it up at the other end. This does seem to have a few differences. Make sure my throttle's closed as well, huh? Oh, it sounds like we've missed something going past. Yeah. Timing, eh? Oh, for anybody who's not found it yet, by the way, that's the light switch there for the engine room. I only found that today. So there you go. Right. You can faff about all you want down here because it's actually 8 o'clock is the departure time for the thing going back up to Hagen, and we're nearly done already. So no particular hurry to do this. You can use this to. This is quite a good one to just have a wee play about with switches and buttons as well while you're sitting and waiting, see what things do, and then wonder why it won't move when it comes time to go. Not bothering with PZB because we're just going straight down into this side, and it seems utterly pointless. I don't think I actually pass a magnet. Ah, for cock's sake. Right, what I was saying about permission for signals and stuff like that. Yeah, you have to watch for it. I basically took my eye off the ball there and got penalised badly for it. I forgot entirely that the side-in signal holds you, and you have to ask for permission to go past it. So I'm not going to do all that again. All that you missed there was a couple up to a rake of empties, and that is where the scenario ends. It's then a 20-minute wait to pull it back up to Hagen. But fuck that, I'm not playing with that boy anymore. Pardon my language. Right, let's go and have a look at main spec art instead. So, that looks pretty good. That's a pretty good looking lineup. I like that. Right, so we want the 182. Let's do it on a winter's day. We'll make it a clear day, or will we make it actually snow? Let's make it just a clear day. Clear winter's day. And I think we'll do a westbound, so that I'm not. Pick one at random, I guess, huh? Right. Let's see if we can avoid a total disaster this time. Okay, so let's just check what we're pulling first of all. Let's see. Yes, that's a modem, easy peasy. So what I want to do first, I want to go to the driver's desk first. So we make sure we tell it what way we're going before we do anything else. And get the lights on. Let's get rid of that. Don't need that. Okay, let's get the AFB on. And under the right hand side, because we're pulling a freight train modem, we can start turning everything on now. Just make sure that don't know if you actually need the train line for a freight train. That is more to do with like the lights and things in the passenger cars. I'm not certain how vital it is. We've got the AFB set up and master switch forward. Put the brakes to 1B. We're still sitting at a red signal though, so I'd forgotten this happens. Let's see if we can spot what's causing it. So there's a train coming in. There might be the little three. Yeah, okay, so let's see, what will we do? Let's put the brakes back on and turn that back off for now. Because we'll just get out and have a wee look, because this thing's coming in first of all down there, the one in the middle of the target crosshair. And then immediately behind that is the little 3-car thing that runs up and down between here and Lower Ban, I think. So Yeah, it looks kind of nice and snowy and crisp and... So immediately behind this guy comes a little three-car jobby. He'll be a minute or two behind. And then we get to go. I think as well for this one, just the CIFA switch is there, should you want it. We'll turn it on for this one, we'll turn everything else on. CIFA's quite pleasant in this this train. It's not like a piercing loud bell, and it's not like an angry loud guy shouting at you. It's a very soothing voice, almost just suggesting that you might want to press the button if it's not too much trouble. It's still red. We'll use the flying camera this time to go hunting for... what's holding us up. Seems like it's miles away, but it doesn't take that long to come down. It's probably just sitting up at the... Now, does it come down from the right or does it go up to the left? I can't actually remember what way the rail goes. Can't mind which one's the real one and which one's the fake one. Ha! Ah, there we go. Here he comes. And wait for it to reload, because we got too far away. But that should be just about time for a... By the time we get a couple of things done here, he should be getting ready to appear around that corner, and we'll be good to go. I'm going to set the AFB handle now. And we should see him just appearing. I do wish they'd give you a bit more information when you pick a service to run. At least told you, there'll be a short delay at the start or something like that. So there it is in the distance there. I don't know how well that's showing up on the stream. That little three-car thing just crossing the main line there. So that's a proceed with caution for us, with no other restrictions shown. So release the train brake, put your throttle in, and let the direct brake out. And just wait for the brake pressure to release. And then, slowly but surely, we'll start to build up a little bit of momentum. Sometimes takes a wee moment just to wind up, but it's definitely doing it. There we go. There we go. Go, go, go. Yeah. Definitely a lot heavier than it was on rear sig. So, now that we're underway, let's just check I don't have to acknowledge the signal. Do I? Don't I? No, that's fine. Right. Let's see what's going on here. Hello MS, sorry if I don't answer straight away MS, it's I don't have the chat window on the same screen as the game, so that I can see it a bit better, so it sometimes takes a wee minute for me to see there's a message. Who am I? Who are any of us, mate? It's deep philosophical discussion time. I'm just a bloke who's got a bit too much spare time on his hands who likes playing with train games. I'm nothing to do with dovetail games, and I'm not a train driver. If that's what you're getting at. Right, so we're out onto the main line. We're still under the PZB start program. I can... I'm not going to clear it just because of that last signal not being a clear one. And until I can see the gantries ahead, there's no point. Okay, so you'll hear the Zugbeeinflussung a bit more often than in the last few videos I've done, because I do have SIFA turned on, and of course it's the same control to acknowledge them. So now that we're out onto the main line, we can add a bit of speed.
SIFA, Zugbeeinflussung.
Hey, dodge the scenery, otherwise the camera goes mental when it collides. Okay, so it's yeah, it's definitely still a different physics model being used on main Spessart, because this is definitely a much heavier train than a similar one was on Ruhr-Sig. I'm kind of hoping there's been a new locomotive announced, the BR-155 maybe? It's the 151 or the 155. But this is being billed as a heavy freight locomotive, again for the German routes, so the German routes are getting more content, and they're releasing it, they're specifically billing it as heavy freight for Ruhr-Sig Nord, so I'm wondering if that is going to come with a physics overhaul for the stuff on Ruhr-Sig. That's something else coming soon, and there's been another British locomotive announced as well. I can't even remember which one. It's it's another old one they're bringing out for West Somerset Railway, which is yeah, I'm kind of disappointed because it's another mainline locomotive built for pulling express trains that we get to trundle up and down at 20 miles an hour in, so I don't know, I might give that one a miss, to be honest with you. We'll see. You'll have noticed I don't do a great deal with West Somerset. I get why it's popular, I understand why people like it, it's just it's not my particular cup of tea. But looking forward to the 155 and even more electric PZB equipped trains to play with. That'll be good. So, straightforward so far, lots of nice clear signals. It's the first time I've been along here in the winter actually, I've not seen it looking like this before. It's alright, isn't it? So coming up to a faster stretch of line, but we will only be going up to 120 kilometres an hour, because obviously PZB will kick me in the ass if I go full up line speed. Oh blimey, the glare effect off the snow is pretty good along here. I don't know how well it's shown up on the stream, but it's quite effective on the game, that's for sure. So it's really starting to rock and bounce around now. It's let's switch to another camera, see if we can. Yeah, you can really see how it's sort of bouncing and swaying and rocking and rolling there. It's cool. So it's an idea when you know there's signals around corners or speed limits changes coming up. It's an idea just to be ready to adjust the AFB in advance of that. Which is why I came back to the to this camera so early. Especially because I've not done this before, so I don't know how well this train's going to brake under on a downhill, things like that. It's a lot more punishing on main spec art than it is on rear sig though, that's for sure. And I managed to balls that up. Wish they could do passenger service. Well, I wouldn't rule it out, Sean. Welcome to the stream, thanks for joining. I wouldn't rule passenger services out in future. If you have a look through when you play with the destination board thing over here, it's got everything's programmed in. So, who knows? We might yet get it. So that was a speed limit reduction sign going by, but that doesn't need a PZB acknowledge, and it doesn't affect us anyway because we're already well below the speed involved. Right, so there is a speed reduction coming up in a couple of kilometres. Can't remember if it's going to be guarded by signals or what. It's I haven't actually been down this. I haven't driven this line since the updated Leipzig. What do you call it? Rapid transit. Start of the week, last week. It's amazing how quickly you get used to another line and you forget where everything is. And you end up being far too cautious when you come back. So that's the reduction to 100, so we'll peg it back to 95. So down to the speed nice and early, but that's better than having to brake because you're going to be too late, because we're on an uphill and these things are not the most responsive. You even see the frost and stuff on the front of the signal plate, the front plate of the signal there as you go past. That's pretty cool. I don't remember if there's any temporary speed restrictions or anything running westbound either. I can remember the eastbound ones because they caught me so many times. And I've noticed as well that it does like to throw you a yellow going down that hill sometimes, just to keep you on your toes. And what I've also found is that you're better to keep about 10 or 15k below your normal running speed going down there, just because it's such an extreme gradient. Otherwise, you run the risk of not making the braking profile. If you don't run with PZB, it doesn't matter. You can run at line speed more or less. You'll probably stop. It's just PZB doesn't cope to it. It's not that it doesn't cope. It's that if you run at maximum speed down a hill that steep, you're asking too much. Right, so the speed limit's about to go up again a little bit. This is quite a nice run. Going westbound with the fast freight is quite a nice thing to do, just if you want a, if you've maybe only got 25-30 minutes and you just, you can't be bothered with stoppy-starty stuff. These are nice and fast, and I don't know why I thought I had to acknowledge that signal. I also learned as well with this early on never to assume you're going to see the same set of signals twice when you drive along it, because it doesn't always seem to be the case. So I like it, you can see the shadow of the train and everything. You can just see it there in front of the window there. Frustrating how this game can show such good and such awful effects on the same screen at the same time sometimes. Right, so the speed limit's gone back up. We can get ourselves up to 120.
FIFA.
Right, so we're chuntering along quite nicely. Oh, there's a speed limit reduction coming up. I don't think that one needs an acknowledgement, but there's a booby trap up here somewhere, I think. If I remember rightly. We'll just keep our eyes open for it, or maybe that's a bit further towards Aschaffenburg actually. Yeah, we can actually probably set that to the 100 because it's going to lose a few on account of the uphill climb. Oh, blimey, can't I see anything, man? That would be really hard to see the lights and things against that sunshine. It would make it really difficult, I would think. Which I suspect is probably what they were going for, because as we all know, if we've driven in low light, low level air, a low flying sun like that, it can really bugger you up for picking out things like lights, even if they're LED ones. Kind of surprised at how many straight greens in a row I've had, though. This is unusual for MSB to get all this way without something happening. Right, so we're a good halfway along the line now. Can't remember the name of the place that we just passed through, but I recognise it. We're flying along. There aren't that many properly slow sections of this line. Even in a freight train, you can modem. You can average. You'll be pulling 120 for a lot of it. Not average, of course, but you'll be running at a reasonable speed for a good section of it. Mode U trains take a little longer, of course, because they're much more heavily restricted, but these are quite quick. In fact, we can take that speed up a little bit more as well, up to 120. So the CIFA light on the bank of these these sort of horrible rubber light button things in front of you. CIFA one's the white one, just underneath the. Well, there's three white ones. It's the white one between two yellows, just beneath the traction gauge here. You'll see it light up in a second. There we go. And speed limit's going down to 120 as well. We're already well under that limit, so we're okay. But I'm going to keep an eye for signals and things still, because they've got a knack of surprising you on this line. Although being on an uphill section just now, we would probably be okay having to respond to anything. Oh, what did I forget to do? Oh, it's that bloody speed limit. Yes, we know, we know, we know, we know, we know. Yes, the booby trap that I mentioned a few kilometres back down the line, that just remembered where it is. Oh, ballcocks. Right, this could be quite interesting as well, because we're on, it's going to be an uphill start. Right, let's see if I can just, oh, it's trying, it's trying, it's trying. It's giving it the full 300, opening the AFB up much further shouldn't really... There we go, it's biting, it's biting, it's biting, it's bitten, we're good. Oh, what a dickhead. Right, so it'll take a little while to get a wee head of... I was going to say get a head of steam up. It's... so it's just a passenger train going by. Nothing to acknowledge on the signal mast, but there is another PZB booby trap there. That magnet for the 70. So we'll just kill the AFB a little bit. The frustrating thing is I bloody well knew that was coming as well, and I was too busy yakking about something and looking at everything in the cab except from that point in the middle of the window. So, although we're under 1000 Hz monitoring, well, we're not anymore. I was quite happy to whiz along at near enough PZB speed, simply because it was for a speed limit, not a signal. So I knew there was absolutely no chance of a 500 Hz magnet being active in front of me. Not often that you'll go charging along at near enough full speed with the 1000 light active. But there are times where it's perfectly okay to do it. So, I don't think you would really turn that on in real life, but it's just difficult to see the AFB handle without it. See, it's you're kind of fishing about in the dark. You're looking for the AFB handle if you don't have that turned on. If you needed it for any reason. Okay, so we're going down the big hill now, and although the line speed is 120, you're better to give yourself more than your usual 5 kph in your pocket coming down here, because it's going to take you longer to stop or to decelerate going down here. So there, nope, there's the 182's another one that can't quite hold on just with the AFB alone coming down here. In fact, a couple of notches of the brake handle in now, and it's just starting to slow down a little bit. So yeah, safety margins and all that. In fact, I read somewhere, I know that trains going up this hill, if they're being pushed up, they're restricted to 50 kilometres an hour for various reasons. So I would imagine there'd be other sort of special rules in place around an incline like that that's obviously has some special requirements. But certainly my own experience of finding yellow signals and things down here is that you need more than the usual 5k cushion, otherwise you could be really struggling. I've had this one be flashing yellow, green on me before, sorry. Forget what bloody signalling system I'm running under now. Yeah, I've had a proceed with caution there before, and I think the next one down as well, I've had one before. I don't think we're that far from the bottom now though. If I remember rightly, it sort of rolls out of this left-hander at the bottom here. Yeah, there's the gradient starting to tail off now. So that's a heavy waiting to get a push up the hill. You might see the banking loco already attached as we pass. We'll have a look as we go. Aye, so he's already got his banking loco attached there, ready to get a push up that hill. Can't do those services in the 182, unfortunately. Either the pushing or the pull-in part of it. You do sometimes find as you get towards the end of the line that you're catching up on a passenger train you might run into some signals, but given my earlier mistake, that might not happen here. Probably pick it up there just a wee bit to 120. It'll be about as fast as we go for the whole trip. I notice we've not seen another 182 though on the way along here, so I don't know whether it's how often you're going to see them as AI trains. I'll go back and have a look at those links, Stephen. As I say, I'm sorry, I've not been near my computer really this week at all until today, but there's no such thing as too much information about PZB if you ask me. There's still way too much that Dovetail keep hidden from us. And the only reason that I've got snow on this is, to be honest, just before I came on stream, when I was firing YouTube up, setting it all up so I could have the chat on my laptop next to me, I found completely at random a live stream from the cab of a Norwegian train. Somebody driving a train right now in Norway is live streaming from their cab. And apparently there's still snow all over the ground around Bergen, and it looked kind of cool, and I thought I'm going to do that in Train Sim, because it looked nice. Right, AFB alone is not cutting it here. Even pretty severe braking is barely cutting it here. And I can see some yellow ahead. There may be trouble ahead. And I am going to bring it all the way down to 45, 40 or so because of that expect stop that I just saw. Okay. Right, I'm just going to bring it down to 30 so that we're now that signal in fact has gone to proceed with caution, so I can pick the speed up a little bit again. I didn't go slow enough to trigger the restricted monitoring, so straight back into 1000 Hz normal monitoring, but the speed limit's still not restricted, so we're all good. And then straight into a 40 mph speed limit. Lovely jubbly. I'd forgotten about that. Or 40 km even. God damn it.
SIFA, Zugbeeinflussung.
Do.
Zugbeeinflussung.
So the temptation down here is always to start looking around and not paying attention, and you can come to a sticky end down here if you do that, because there's different times of day I've had different experiences coming through here, and you can suddenly be responding to things that you didn't think you would have to. I'm just going to bring it down to 30. I don't think I need to. I'd see if I'm coming on anyway, so. Now we're only a few hundred meters away from a stop anyway, so we'll just nice controlled entry.
SIFA, Zugbeeinflussung.
And one last debris to acknowledge as we go through here.
Zugbeeinflussung.
So next will almost certainly be a red, so we're already well underneath any limits. This is almost the longest bit of the whole effort, is just pulling it into the siding at the end, because you just cruise on up here. You don't need to come thundering in here with smoke billowing out the brakes by any stretch of the imagination. And to be honest, I never really feel a great sense of urgency on this route anyway, with the lack of especially with the lack of times. With the passenger routes, once you've done them once or twice, you know roughly what time you want to be at the other end by, and that's about it.
SIFA, Zugbeeinflussung.
I can see my message counter ticking up in the corner of my screen. I will get to them just in a wee second, I promise. I've already had one PZB fail this afternoon though, I don't want to have another.
SIFA, Zugbeeinflussung.
Right, let's see if we can just judge this properly. Probably not. Will I go too far? Will I stop too soon? Stopping short. Oh no, let me have it, that's cool. Of course it's not as stingy as Ruhr-Signord about making sure you stop it right on the button. Right. Let's see what we got here. Ah, yes, the old fixating on the PZB speeds thing. That's what did it with me, man. Was I stopped focusing on the little flashy lights and started concentrating more on the actual signal speed kind of thing. Because if you go raking, there is information about signal speeds and what have you. What I did notice is they sort of correlate, as a rule of thumb. The speed limit for the signal is roughly equivalent to the PZB magnet speed limit for the next bit of the process, if that makes any sense. Like your 500 magnet's 65 in mode O, that's what you'll come down to for the proceed with caution signal, is 65, even though that doesn't come into play till the next stage. When you pass the expect stop, get yourself down to 45, which is the max for the 500. And that seems to be roughly how the speed limits work. And as soon as you start driving to those signal speed limits, well, you're automatically in compliance with PGB the entire time, PZB the entire time. So, yes, that is the update you will be downloading just now. Hello, YN Lion, and welcome as well. Yes, you can use the 182 on rear Signord and main Spec Art ban if you have the locomotive and the routes already purchased, obviously. Only available to pull freight trains with at the moment, and rear sig and main Spec Art. And I'm not aware of seeing another one go past me at all the whole time I was out there either, so I don't know whether you really actually have the only one on the route, or whether you'll see them as random spawns. I believe there were not a huge number of these things delivered in the first place. I think in the 20s maybe was the number I read somewhere of these built. Oh, it's doing that funny, weird, bouncy, jumpy thing it sometimes does when you get out of train here. It's just occurred to me as well. I like how you've sat and wrote all that out, and then you've suddenly realised I'm sitting in the 182. That amused me. Well, apparently I've still got the throttle off as well, so there you go. Right, so yeah, that was the 182 on rear Signord with a bit of an embarrassing end to the whole debacle, and main Spec Art ban. Aye, it's good. I like it. It's as good on this as it is on Rapid Transit. I'll definitely be getting a lot of mileage out of this one, methinks. And who knows, we might even get it for passengers in the future. Fingers crossed. So it's just, yeah, there's nothing really sitting down here. You know, funny time of day. You start to know the times of day that when you turn up at this station, there's going to be trains for you to grab. Round about the half-hour mark is a good time to be at one of the terminal stations. You'll get your choice of services. There's one down there, but I think that doesn't actually go for ages yet. You can hear all these people, but there's nobody here. That's kind of freaky, actually. Not even any sign of another freight train coming down. Nah. Oh, don't think I've been down. Have I been down here? Yeah, I think I've been down here. Oh no, I've not been down here because I've not got the map. Ah. Oh, walking into the posts. Right, I think probably, what time is it? 10 to 7. Yeah, I think that's probably where I'm going to call it for now, because I've been doing this for a couple of hours. But I'll probably find more stuff to do with the 182, and we don't know when the 155's come in. I mean, they've just announced it. Last time they announced, they announced the BR33, we had it within days. The 182 was a bit different because they delayed that because everybody kicked off about the PZB thing, but potentially we could have another new train in a week or two, so keep your eyes peeled for that as well. But I'll be back soon, and thanks very much for watching, guys. Take care.